Most people think that the best way to negotiate is to find common ground and come to an agreement. But according to FBI hostage negotiator Chriss Voss, that's not always the best approach. In his book Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as if your life depended on it, Voss reveals the strategies and techniques he used to successfully resolve some of the most dangerous situations imaginable. And that's what I'm going to show you today. In this video, you're going to learn a powerful negotiation tactic that will help to get what you want without giving anything up. Here's a quick animated summary of the book Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as if your life depended on it by Chriss Voss. Welcome to the Peak Performance channel, the place where you come to be inspired to create a more prosperous future. But before we go any further, make sure you hit that like button, smash the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you won't miss a single video. Also be sure to watch our other videos. Never Split the Difference contradicts most common negotiating strategies, advice and teachings for a good reason. The author Chriss Voss is a former FBI negotiator who's worked with hostage takers, bank robbers and other dangerous people. When the stakes are as high as someone's life, terms like getting to yes or win-win bargaining fall flat into their faces. After all, if the person you love the most in the world has been taken hostage, splitting the difference with the other side is probably not what you want the end result to be. According to Chriss Voss, most old-school negotiation approaches no longer work because they ignore the real human person doing the bargaining. Number 1. Understand that emotions play a much bigger role in negotiations than facts and logic. People are emotional. That's why it's important to be emotionally intelligent in negotiations. You need to understand the other person's feelings and connect with them on a human level. Emotion, not logic, determines the success or failure of negotiations. You should try to build up trust with the other side. This will make you appear helpful, understanding and insightful to them. You shouldn't try to intimidate or overwhelm them with information. Instead, you should show them how solving your problem also solves theirs. Number 2. Use empathy to connect with the other person on an emotional level and make them feel heard and understood. Before you can use human emotions to your advantage, you must first make the other person feel heard and understood. To do so, you must learn the art of active listening. It's the act of turning off your internal monologue and paying complete attention to what the other person is saying. Being a good listener is different from what you usually do in your everyday life. In everyday life, people usually listen to what they want to hear and filter out the rest. They also focus on formulating their answer while the other person is still talking. To show that you're a great listener, use a tactic called mirroring. This means replying using the last 3 or 4 words of what the other person said. For example, if someone says, "I can't believe it's going to be so terribly cold on Friday," your reply starts with, "Yeah, Friday is going to be really cold." And then you continue with what you want to say. By imitating their speech patterns, you're signalling to the other person on an emotional level that you're not just hearing them, but are also similar to them. This creates trust. You've made the other person feel heard. Now it's time to understand their perspective. You do this by employing tactical empathy. This means understanding someone else's perspective and then vocalizing it in order to get what you want. You do this by what the author calls labeling. When you listen to the other person, you vocalize their emotion with a neutral phrase such as "it seems like you" or "it looks like you." For example, the pharmaceutical representative was talking to a doctor who told her that he wasn't interested in switching to the drug she was offering. However, the representative saw that when the doctor was talking about his patients, his voice and entire attitude brightened. So she used tactical empathy and stated, "It appears that you genuinely care about the well-being of your patients." This caused the doctor to relax his guard and turn the situation around. The representative attentively listened, took emotion from the conversation and articulated it with "it seems like." In this case, she was right. But even if she wasn't, using a third-person sentence like that gives her an exit option. If the doctors had answered "not even close," She could easily explain, "I didn't claim that was the case, I simply stated it seemed like it," diffusing a potentially dangerous scenario. Hey, you enjoying the video? Well, let's see how you can use this tactic to your advantage in negotiations. But here's a quick reminder before we continue. Make sure you smash that like button and hit the subscribe and notification button if you haven't already done so, as it means that YouTube sends you more of these kinds of videos and it helps our channel. Okay, let's get back to the video. As a great negotiator, your aim is to actively listen, apply tactical empathy, and use mirroring and labelling to come to the magical 2 words. That's right. Number 3. When you hear something you don't like, use calibrated questions to prompt for a longer answer. When you describe the other person's words and emotions and get a "that's right" from them, they're giving you credit for viewing things their way. You've made an emotional connection with them, which completely changes the negotiation atmosphere. The following step is to use calibrated questions. These are open-ended how and what questions to ask when you hear something you don't agree with. For example, if you are negotiating with your landlord and he wants to raise your rent, you may say no, or question, "How am I expected to do that?" or "What are we actually trying to accomplish here?" This will demand a longer response from the other person. It will help you in resolving your problem. If they respond with something better, but still not what you are hoping for, you may use tactical empathy and a different form of the same calibrated question. If your landlord says, "Okay, how about this price instead of that?" you might say, "It seems like you think your property is worth less than comparable properties in the neighbourhood, but I can't afford that since my wage is fixed." Keep going until you accomplish your target. Negotiations are successful when you recognise that the other person's emotions are more important than facts and logic. To be an effective negotiator, you must first make the other person feel heard and understood. You can do this by using empathy to show that you understand their point of view and connect with them on an emotional level. When the other person feels this way, they are more inclined to agree to your request. And that's all. So, to become a successful negotiator, always remember to 1. Find out what the other person really wants. Number 2, make sure you understand their position. Number 3, be willing to compromise. Number 4, be clear about your own objectives. Number 5, don't be afraid to ask for what you want. Number 6, be prepared to walk away from the negotiations if necessary. Now that you know how to make use of emotions in negotiations, go out there, put this into practice. Remember though, the goal is not to win but to reach an agreement that is beneficial for both parties involved. Good luck! Thank you for being all ears throughout the entire video. If you'd like to learn more about the nature of this business, subscribe now and click on the notification bell to be updated with the latest uploads. To create is effort, to copy is genius. Albert Einstein. If you want to expand your income by engaging with some side hustles, feel free to contact me so we'll get things moving right away. Remember, if you want to change your life, let's make a change together. You need to make a change.